Hi guys. So if you've been following my Facebook or my Instagram, you probably already know that I had a show this past weekend in Orlando. I competed in the Orlando Europa, the Expo Games, and it was my second pro show. As you guys probably know, I did my first pro show here in Los Angeles, the Muscle Contest Pro Show, Bikini Pro, where I placed second in my pro debut, which I thought was really great. So 3 weeks later, I went straight into my next show, which was the Orlando Europa last weekend. And I actually placed 10th. I came in 10th place, where, you know, I was hoping and expecting to do a little bit better, especially since I had such a great, you know, kind of first show of the year. But honestly, it was a much tougher lineup. It was a much tighter lineup. The girls, of course, came in looking spectacular. There was a lot of girls who had already been on the Olympia stage and a lot of girls who, you know, just came off the Arnold. So I knew going into the show that it was going to be a tough show, but I thought I could hold my own up there. And being in the top 10, you know, it's not bad. There was, I think, 17 or 18 girls in the show. So, you know, it's not bad. But, you know, as a competitor, of course, like, your competitive side wants you to be at that top 3 spot always. And, you know, I wanted to be first. You know, I don't want to be top 3. I want to be number 1. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, like, how to turn a loss into kind of a win. And for me, this show was really a win because, number one, it was a spectacular show. I mean, you know, Europa always puts on such a great production. There were so many amazing athletes. I felt really kind of honored and humbled to be on stage with, you know, some of these bikini athletes that I have been, you know, following and have been inspiring me and motivating me for years. So I felt really blessed to be up there with them and to really kind of hold my own in my first year as a pro. But these girls really just came in at a level where I really know that I need to take my body. So it was, you know, I kind of turned this loss into a win because it showed me that even though I'm not really in that top 3 spot just yet, it showed me all of the things that I really need to work on. It gave me some new goals and some new, it kind of gave me like a new direction and a new perspective on the sport. I was able to like come back and kind of reevaluate like what I've been doing so far. And realize that there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And as a competitor, that's always a great thing because, you know, starting off as a pro and not having so many things to achieve or not having to make so many changes kind of makes you, at least for me, it kind of keeps me bored. It's like, you know, I want to go in the gym, I want to train hard, I really want to push myself, but if your body's already there, there's not a lot of pushing that you need to do. For me, just starting off this year, I know that there's a lot of work to be done. So I came back to Los Angeles and kind of reevaluated my game plan. I was thinking of going straight into the Pittsburgh Pro and then straight into the Dallas Europa. And I kind of had to scratch that, toss it away. I'm going to get back to work. I'm taking the next 8 to 9 weeks to prep for the Greater Gulf States, which is going to be in New Orleans, that I'm actually really excited about because I wanted to do that show this year regardless. So I'm going to take some time, put some size back on. You know, one aspect of competing that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that when you start dieting down for shows, that little bit of muscle that you gain during your off season, that lean mass, it starts to strip away at you when you're going from show to show, dieting down and dieting down. You know, it's almost like for every pound of muscle for every pound of fat that you lose, you're basically losing a pound of muscle. So as much as you want to come in really nice and full to shows, sometimes it's tough when you're doing back-to-back shows. You know, I dieted down and I felt that I was in a really good place for Culver City for my first pro show, and just going straight back into a diet down into a prep, my body couldn't hold on to like that pump for that amount of time, to be honest. I realized like in this last peak week for the Europa, my body came in kind of flat. I tried to really fill up, but it's a really tough balance when you're trying to like play with water, trying to keep that water in your muscles and not subcutaneous under the skin. So it was, you know, it was tough to kind of get into a good flow into a peak week, coming off of a peak week for 3 weeks before, still dieting down, still doing cardio. So I know that as much as I tried to bring my body the best and as dry and full as possible, it was really tough to kind of manipulate that. So I realized like taking a little bit of time off, getting that size back on that I've been losing, is going to be key into going into my next show and kind of really bringing the best body. So I look forward to like all the challenges that I have ahead of me this year. Of course, you know, like I've mentioned 1,000 times, I want to make it to that Olympia stage. It's my goal for, you know, 2014 to get that Olympia qualifier. But I know that in order to get there, I have to make my body really look the best as possible. And I can't go shop the same body from show to show. You know, I get a lot of you girls who send me tons of questions and emails, and I try to answer them as much as possible. So I'm going to try doing more of these like vlogs for you guys, just answering questions like all at the same time. And a lot of you guys, you know, ask me like, how do I strategize for shows? How do I get myself ready? Like, what's my plan? And I really thought this year that I was going to be able to go, you know, get my body ready early on and just go show to show to show. And you know, one thing that you learn is that you have to know your body very well and know like when you can show up and when it's time to get back to the drawing board, fix a couple of things, and then get back on stage when you know you're ready. You know, for me, I was lean. I could have easily stepped on the, you know, the Pittsburgh stage in 2 weeks, you know, just coming off of a show. But for me, there's no point in shopping the same body around when the judges already told me that I need to put on some size. So 3 weeks, you can't put size on 3 weeks. You know, you got to continue your diet. You got to continue eating clean. So any sort of like mass that you want to gain, it's going to take at least 2 months for it to get on there. It's going to take probably another month or like 2 to harden up. So it didn't make sense for me to like get back on stage knowing that the judges, you know, wanted to see something different from me. And for me, as a competitor, it's very important to make sure that every time I step on that stage, I can wow these judges. I can make them see something different. I can show them that I'm constantly changing and constantly evolving. And that's one of the, you know, one of the things that I wanted to kind of like mention to you guys is for you competitors out there who, you know, I don't know what the judges want and are always saying like, oh, it's just political, and you know, you can never assume, or you never really know what these judges are looking for. When you look back at the pictures and you look back at the lineup, especially when you're talking about nationals or the pro circuit, the pictures don't lie. And that for me, you know, is something that I've always known. When I look back at the pictures, I know that I didn't deserve the top 3, that I didn't deserve the top 5. Sometimes I did deserve the top 5 and I got it. Sometimes I deserved first place and I won it, you know. So for me, and I kind of say this to you guys so that you can get like a little better perspective. Always look at yourself, look at your body, look at the lineup, and see what areas you need to improve on that the other girls have brought that look better than you. And that's what I'm doing right now. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and I need to bring up those weaknesses in order to, you know, like I say, like hang with the big boys, you know, like play with the big girls. There's seals right there. Who are like, they're like getting mad at me, I think, for filming this while they're taking a nap, of course. So yeah, ladies, if you have any other questions, or if there's anything that you guys kind of want me to touch upon or talk about, you know, feel free to leave your comments below this video. Shoot me an email at howard.lisette@gmail.com. Also follow me. I put tons of videos, tons of pictures, and like progress pics and what I'm up to, and like kind of lifestyle photos. I post them on my Instagram under Lisette Howard _fitness. Find me on Twitter under Lisette Howard, and on Facebook, Lisette Howard Fitness. All right, guys, leave your questions. I'll be answering them all this week. Take care.